About 3.5 years ago, I was just starting out, and I got really excited. Somebody from the Philadelphia area invited me over, and but this one particular artist was just not vibing, and I knew in that moment that it was like, well, from this point on, I can't give up. I can't just go off of one man's or woman's word. I have to just go ahead and be consistent. Yo, what's up? I'm Melody Man, and this is Seeme Gang. Underestimate? Most definitely.
Why?
I think that there's so much going on inside of a music producer's mind during a project, after a project. I even think there's a lot of self-doubt, especially when it comes to the critical ways of social media and the audience. Could be live, could not be live. I think that underestimating is just one word to describe how we feel usually when we're making projects. My answer to that is, I think it goes both ways. So me making a beat or collaboration is its own property. It's its own creativity. From an artist standpoint, I can't really speak too much into what it takes to make lyrics, what it takes to write, but I do know one thing. Each side has its own creative element, and basically from an artist standpoint, they do need beats to make themselves feel and look a certain way, but I think that it holds just as much weight as a producer. You need both. It's just like a marriage. You need both to collaborate and create and grow, all that stuff. Ooh, describe myself. Um, I think I can be bold, definitely, and I think secondly, creative, and thirdly, humble. I guess for all three to compare, I just always have found myself to be a unique creative. Definitely from day one, I knew that that's what I wanted to be. That was my main goal, to sound different, to look different, and to obviously network a little bit differently than other people. Yes. Most definitely. I actually had a little script I wrote earlier, but I won't get too much into it. I think that my beats have everything to do with what's inside of me and how I feel. Good and bad, happy, sad. A lot of times I'm talking about sin, or I'm talking about happiness or pain or joy, anything from my past. I just try to depict that into a beat. Most definitely actions. If I weren't doing it, I don't think that I would be creating it, and therefore, actions do speak louder than words. You know, person A could say, I want to make this, and this is what I dream of. Me, on the other hand, Melody Man, has put a lot of action into the projects that I've created. Also taking that time out and not giving up every single time, not giving up. Most definitely not. I do not think I'm the best. I think there are so many good artists and creatives out there, especially producers, beat makers, music makers, whatever they call them. I've heard so many names, but do I think I'm the best? No. I just want to be the best that I can be each and every time I make some music. I have a lot of growing to do, but I think I'm the best in how I portray the feelings that come out of the beats. Seeing that I don't know much about the industry, some things that I have seen, definitely from a dark perspective, if I was to change anything, I think I would change the route and the length that it takes for somebody to get noticed. I think there should be more networking and more collaboration done from an internal perspective, especially from the city, from local towns. It takes a certain artist or producer, sometimes by randomness, so much effort to get to be noticed by a certain producer or artist. And I think that if, as a whole, we dumb that down to maybe like practicing something more local, maybe more of a team atmospheric type of base, then I think that people will become successful a little bit quicker. Right now, we're in such a saturated market and such a saturated beat making industry and producing an artist industry that it's very hard for somebody to get noticed on a dime, and you have to put a lot of time. But that's the nature of the beast, and I'm not giving up anytime soon. Ooh. Uh, about 3.5 years ago. I was just starting out, and I got really excited. Somebody from the Philadelphia area invited me over, and but this one particular artist was just not vibing, and I knew in that moment that it was like, well, from this point on, I can't give up. I can't just go off of one man's or woman's word. I have to just go ahead and be consistent and wait patiently for the person that'll come through and say, hey, I really like this music. I really like this beat. And that's happened a handful of times. Just from that one instance, taking that and growing from there.
In that situation, in the story that you gave us, do you think that you're at fault or was it them?
Nobody's at fault. We're just two creative collaborators trying to get together and make something work. And from there on was just a life lesson. Like, don't put all your eggs in one basket, for sure. It's a tough pose. Knowing that I've only been in the market for about 4 years, handmade, I'm not going to go ahead and answer that, but I think that everybody has their own role to play for each state, honestly, for all the different vibes, all the different cultures, all the different music that's out there, West Coast, East Coast. I certainly do represent the East Coast as far as my music that's made. It's part of what I grew up on, my early inspiration. I've thought about it many times. I think that I would have preferred the old era. And I only say that because of my schooling and because of what I don't know. Now, if I was somebody that went to school and clearly knew the ins and outs of music and the industry and just not even that, but just knowing like mixing and engineering and all the other things that wrap around it, then I would be much more confident in today's era. Today's era, even on a social media platform, wants you to be almost pretty much perfect. And I don't suggest that any artist or music maker operate that way 24/7. Sometimes you're going to have a moment where you make the greatest things by mistakes. And for me as a music maker, that's where most of my best beats, most of my best collaborations came from accidentally pressing a key or accidentally, creating something that I didn't plan on. And those are the best moments. And to compare old era to new era, those things probably still happened back in the day. And I can hear that in the music for sure. And being a musician myself, you don't always plan on the great things that happen. So God willing, I think that we should plan to be unplanned. So I have a couple of things I'd like to say. I think that I probably would provide a more unique aspect of music. Being a musician for over 25 years, I give that real raw, basically musical sound. Basically, it's not just about putting a beat together, putting the drums together. Like, a lot of it just has a little bit more thought, for me at least, a more heartfelt thought to it. Like I said, a lot of my beats have a lot of emotion in them. Anywhere from depicting sin, anywhere from depicting my testimony with God, anywhere from depicting past pain that I've had in my life. All that stuff goes injected directly into my music, and there's no other way that I can do that, portray that, but through music. Yeah, I'm Melody Man. I've been collaborating, producing, beat making for about almost 4 years now, and I don't plan on giving up. Just kind of basically collaborating, networking with anybody in the area. I do have a recent project that was built about a year ago. Shout out to Rockin' Mr. Everything. He's out of Portland, Oregon. Again, I want to shout out another guy that actually brought me into the beat making scene, Richie Giorno, aka Infamous. He was a videographer / designer. He helped me build my brand, Melody Man, to begin with, and basically backed me the whole way. Those are the type of people that are my building and foundation to this whole business. I don't do it alone. I have people that stand right next to me and lift me up as well. And like I said, God willing, I hope I promote more business and basically network with other people and grow. I'm very excited for the future. Obviously, we're ending 2023. I hope that 2024 becomes more productive and more collaborative with other people, for sure.